Good afternoon, everyone. This is Davina from the Natural Remedies Kitchen. Today, we'll be doing a video on hydrotherapy. And, we have back to school. It's back to school for most countries at this time. And what normally happens around September time is you have a lot of children that gets a cold and flus and fevers and headaches from all the homework and a little bit stressed. Moms get a little bit stressed as well. So today I'll be sharing with you a couple of natural, simple, easy home remedies, things that you can do at home, no expense whatsoever, just a little hot water, a little cold water, and a couple of washcloths. So once you learn this, these are simple remedies that you can apply at home. Now, there are things, though, that you would need to look for, important actions and steps that you would need to take if things look that they're a little bit more advanced than home remedies. And these we will get to at the end. So today, the model that I have with me is Gabriella. So I have Gabrielle Senior with me today on the chair there. You could wave and say, hi, Gabrielle. Lovely. So Gabrielle will be my model that I'll be using to demonstrate to you how to do these simple home therapies. All right. So our first therapy will be the fever washdown, basically, right? And this is a therapy that most times when the children have fever, we plunge them in the cold water, isn't it, Gabby? And it is a very bad idea. It can be a dangerous thing. So I'm going to give you an alternative option that you can use instead, which is much safer and will bring the fever down. Um, so when you plunge the person, a child, in icy cold water or really, really cold water, it can actually increase the fever and it can lead to things like seizures. They'll get shivery and stuff like that, and it can lead to seizures. So the better option is this one. So we're gonna add just room temperature water in this bath. So I've got 2 rugs. So what you need a little basin. You need a little basin. I've got 2 washcloths, soft washcloth here, right? One I'll be putting on her forehead, and the other one I'll be wiping her down with. I've got room temperature water here. It can be a little bit lukewarm, right? But room temperature is fine. So I've got my 2 rugs immersed in water. And I've got a little piece of cardboard here that I'll use to fan her at the end. So what I'll be doing with Gabby now, so let's say Gabby has come home with a mild fever, right? I'm wringing out this one. Not completely. There's still a little draining in it, as you can see, right? So I'm going to put this on her forehead because we want to keep the head cool, right? So we always want to keep the head cool. So while I'm doing the remedy, I'm keeping her head, keep cooling down the brain. Then now, I've got the other washcloth here, and it's still a little bit, still there's quite a bit of water in it, right? But I'm not squeezing everything out because I want this moisture. So what I'm going to start doing now, I'm just going to borrow that. I'm going to start, we've got mosquitoes here, but they're evading me. So we're going to just wipe her down with the water, right? We're going to use this room temperature water or lukewarm or tepid, and we're just going to wipe her down with it. And we're going to, just wipe down the whole body with this, right? We're just going to wipe this down, and this is going to help to bring the temperature down. And then once you've got the whole body wet, then you come now with this and you want to make sure a little water is left on it, right? So you then use a little piece of cardboard or, some sort of fan and just fan her down. So this will now make the water cool the water gradually, and it will now evaporate. So, and then you can douse her down again a little bit and just fan and cool her down. So always just leave a little water, and you will find that the one on her head might even heat up. So then you can by getting too warm. So you can then take it and put it back in the water as long as the water is not as warm as the rag. Right. So there we go. You've cooled her down. And you're gonna do feet as well, right? Not just the hands, but you're gonna do the back. You can do the back, you can do the chest, the feet, everywhere that you can get access to, you will wipe down, right? So that's your little fever therapy there. So in September, when they go out to school and they come back home with a mild fever, because they go and they mix and mingle with other children and they pick up little infection here and there, these things do happen. So this is a very easy therapy that you can do to help your child instead of running to get the Tylenol and the this and the that have their they come with their own little side effects. These are natural little home remedies. But if you see the fever get to the stage where the child neck becomes stiff or they can't bend their head, or they've gone silent, then you take the child to the doctor. All right, that's when the fever is a little bit more than for the natural home remedy. If they have trouble breathing, etc., right, you take them there. So this little remedy, hydrotherapy, is excellent for the little school cold, the mild fevers, when that they get when they just go back to school. All right, thank you for that one. The next one that we're going to do, so we're going to be demonstrating 3 to you today. All right, so the next one is a cold heating compress. A cold heating compress. And this one is very good for things like sore throat. The child might come home. You have some children, as soon as their head hit the bed, they don't stop coughing at night. Sometimes their sleeps are disturbed, and your sleep is disturbed as well because of their coughing. Little muscular pain, especially when they go out and they ramp, 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 and after not ramping so much for a while, then they get some little muscular pain, or it might just be from PE, from exercise. So this cold heating compress is a good one that can be used for that purpose. So really, how it works is when you the body basically heats up the cold clots that will be demonstrating to you, and it creates like a little localized steam room effect that fights little throat infections and so forth. So I'm just getting my ice water, not ice water, but well, kind of ice water, cold one. This cold heating compress is cold water, cold water. So let me come back over to the camera in a second. All right, so I've just used that previous water to water my plants. All right, so here I've got, I need one rag for this purpose, right? I might need a thinner rag. So I'm not gonna use these because they're a little bit on the thicker side. I need one that's just a little bit bigger than those as well, but thin. So I'm using one of these kind of rags because then I can wrap it around her neck. And to be honest, it is not as thin as I would like it, but it can work. So I'm storing this cold water here. I had this jug in the fridge, right? I'm throwing it on here. I'm wringing it out. And here now, I'm gonna put this. So She's having a sore throat. She comes from school with a sore throat. I'm wrapping this one around her neck. All right, I'm wrapping this one around her neck. And then, let's see if I can catch any. These mosquitoes are literally smart. All right, so I'm wrapping that one around her neck. And then I'm going to put something like a little fleece, or I could use a bigger towel. So I'm using this. Let's say this is a fleece. You know, sometimes you have the baby blankets from when they were baby, those little wool blankets. That would be perfect to use in this case. So I'm going to wrap it around like that. I am making sure that there's no air, right? I want to keep the wet towel completely covered. And I just want to use two little pins or something to pin it to secure it, right? So it doesn't come off. And then she can go to sleep with this. In the morning when she wakes up, the towel, the little wet rag underneath, it will be completely dry, right? Because the body, as I said, it will create like a little steam room underneath, and it will help to sweat out the infection, whatever is going on there in the throat. So it will help to, and she will sleep well as well, sleep very well. So sometimes, as I said, the child might be one of those that cough all night and keep you up, keep themselves up, poor sleep. This, they will fall asleep and they will sleep peacefully, right? So there you go. You'll save yourself some doctor trip and some bills. Gabby, we kind of wet you up. We're going to have to give you the blows. All right. So that's the second one. You want to just wrap up with this one to keep the mosquitoes away. All right. So we're gonna do the third one that we're gonna do now is a hot and cold contrast. This is one of the like number one Seventh-day Adventist hydrotherapy classic remedy. It is called king of all treatments. It is really for overall vitality, right? So we're gonna do hot and cold. This one, your child come home, too much homework, and they have a splitting headache as a result, right? They have a splitting headache as a result. So I'm gonna put some hot water in this. And remember this one now, disclaimer, you diabetics, please make sure this water is checked with the back of your elbow, right, before you do anything like this, because sometimes with diabetic, you have diabetic neuropathy. So they're not able to feel the heat properly, and they could burn and scorch themselves. I have also a wet towel, which I'm going to bring over in front of the camera soon, right? So two waters, hot and cold water. I'm just throwing the cold water in this, transferring it, and I'm putting that one in there. So that's nice cool water there, and the hot water I've got here, but don't put your feet in as yet. It is a little bit hot. So, all right, still hot. All right. Yeah, but you could test that with your hand. Still hot? All right. Good. Wonderful. All right. So once the temperature is fine for the person, then we're now gonna do a hot. So she's gonna put, you can put, if you can manage to put both feet in, you can. She'll put the feet in and we'll keep it in there for 3 minutes. So you will need a timer. You could put them in while she's putting them in the hot water, right? And she's gonna keep them in there for 3 minutes. We won't be keeping you on the camera that long though. We're just gonna do a quick one. I've got an ice cold rag or a very cool rag. I mean, when I say ice cold, it's not ice cold, but this was in the fridge, which this is a cool one. So I'll just wring it out, right? And once your foot is in warm water, you want to keep the brain cool, right? So we want to keep the brain cool. So you can cover the forehead, you can cover the eyes, and the person can relax. Right. So we're keeping the brain cool. So the brain doesn't get heated up. And they put their feet in that for 3 minutes in the hot water. And then we're going to shift it over to the cold water for 30 seconds. So you can shift them over to the cold water for 30 seconds. Right. So that's a hot and cold contrast. And then we're going to repeat. So once it's in there for 30 seconds, then we put it back in the hot water again for 3 minutes. And you can have a little kettle with warm water on the side just in case you need to top this up if it gets too cold. So you're going to repeat this 3 times. And you're going to ensure that it ends with cold. So what that does is it seals the pores as well as the blood vessels. And you want to go and relax and lie down. So Gabby, we're just going to dry them off now. All right. So remember, once you put it in the hot for 3 minutes and the cold for 30 seconds, you're then going to repeat this 3 times. So once it's finished 30 seconds here, then you put it back in the hot again for 3 minutes and then back in the cold for 30 seconds. And then you repeat hot water again for 3 minutes and then back in the cold for 30 seconds. And you finish it off here with the last cold for 30 seconds. Then you can dry these feet off. All right, so I'll now ease them out and I will dry them off. Right, so I'm just drying them with the towel, shift that. Right. And you want to make sure that you dry them properly. Get between the toes, right? And they're nicely dried. Now, this will relieve congestion in the brain. So sometimes the children come home overwhelmed, physically overwhelmed, mentally or emotionally rather overwhelmed, and the brain is congested, too much homework. And sometimes it's just a heat and dehydration at school and stress, and all these sort of things, and the dust and toxins from the environment. They come home with a splitting headache. That's one thing to do. All right. So your waters are moved away. You can rest your foot down. Right. That's one thing to do to help to ease the headache. Now, this is something that you could do with your child every evening or regularly. Let's put it that way, regularly. It also helps to help them to focus. Helps them to focus. So what it does, it pulls blood down from the congested area and bring it down to the feet, which is brilliant. So it helps the blood, hydrotherapy helps the blood to circulate. And if you want to have good health, you need to have good blood. For you to have good blood, your blood needs to be circulating. It needs to be moving. If it stays still like the water in this basin, then it becomes stagnant. And like we have the mosquitoes here eating us up, that's how bacteria and everything begins to grow in the blood. So I want to thank you very much, Gabby. High five. Wonderful. All right. So Gabby is going back home now to teach mommy these few tricks. Right. And I do encourage you to do the same. Now, if you would like more information on the Natural Remedies Kitchen Detox Center, how you can register for one of our cooking courses that teaches you how to cook healthy plant-based food, especially as you return to school in September, then please do contact us on, I'll send the number, 876 779 6813. So that is 876 779 6813. So you can contact us for training, one of our training sessions. We do run a lifestyle center, so persons can come here to get help with prevention. Is an ounce of prevention is always better than a pound of cure. So you can come in to learn and just to do a general detox, right, to prevent the onset of diseases. And if there's disease already, you can come in and we can help you with lifestyle changes, diet, herbs, lifestyle changes, supplements, etc., to help you to reverse these non-communicable diseases, lifestyle diseases that are reversible by changing how we eat, how we live. Right? So whether it be training for cooking course or hydrotherapy training or prevention programs or detox and natural treatment for diseases that are already set in, or if it's just you need some time away to relax, get a massage, here we are. 779-6813. Contact Davina. And thank you very much once more, Gabrielle. You have been a great model today. And for everyone, do like, subscribe, and share this video so others can know about the